Greetings, Royals. It's Constance from QueenlyMe.com, your place for tips, insight, and information. I almost said tricks. Jesus. On relationships, purpose, and wellness. And excuse my lipstick, but in my defense, I need it for what I'm about to do. Today, I am going to share one of my ex horror stories. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I am releasing my ebook, Forgiving Your Ex, this week. Okay, but while I was writing this book, there is a particular part of it that made me super nervous. This is the part of the book where I talk about a situation that happened between me and one of my exes that was really a complete turning point in my entire life. This story is one that very few people know. And I mean, like, me, him, maybe a couple of friends, but even my family members don't even know the full story. So you can see why I'm nervous about this. I actually thought about removing the entire story from the book, but the Lord spoke to me and asked, are you really going to let him win? It's the goal of the enemy to silence us, because if we're too afraid or ashamed to share our story, then I can't be shaken. If we're too afraid or ashamed to tell our story, then that keeps other people from gaining freedom from hearing it. We know that fear is not of God, according to 2 Timothy 1st chapter and 7th verse. So it's important that you challenge your fears, because if you don't challenge them, they will definitely challenge you. So I wanted to challenge fear by sharing this story in this week's blog. And I can only pray that you're able to see the why behind my reason for even creating it in the first place. So here it goes. Once upon a time, there was a girl. Spoiler, the girl is me. And yes, I meant to say girl, who was in a 4-year relationship with a boy. Yes, a boy. Although the relationship had its dysfunctions, the girl loved him with all of her heart. But the boy decided to move across the country, and the girl began to realize that it's time to give up on the future she had hoped for them and move on. Although she kept in contact with him. He would often talk about her moving to where he was, but the girl had no desire to move that far, especially without a major commitment from him. He continued to bring up the subject until finally the girl explained, that is not a place that I would choose to live in. Of course, if I had a ring, things would be different. The boy replied, well, how can I give you a ring with us being so far apart? They discussed it a bit further, and the boy made it clear that he had every intention on building a life with her, but he was not going to do that if she was unwilling to show her loyalty to him. The girl was relieved to have another chance at the future she believed they could have together, and would do anything to prove that to him. She decided to leave her family in the only state she's known up until that point, to move across the country and be with her fiance. A couple of weeks after she arrived, they moved from his small 1-bedroom to a bigger apartment. And because of this, she was completely understanding of the fact that the topic of the ring or the marriage hadn't come up. They would have plenty of time to discuss it once they got settled. She was, in fact, loyal to him. So she didn't mind being a little patient. After a while of settling in, the girl began to notice some strange things. For instance, all of the boy's friends that she had met approached her as if they had no knowledge of her or their relationship. If I'm his soon-to-be fiance, she thought, then shouldn't his friends have some knowledge of who I am already? And why the flip are 70% of his friends females? So one night she mustered up the courage to remind him, of the whole reason why she moved there in the first place. Ring? The boy replied, why would I give you a ring when we aren't even in a relationship? That's right. You heard me correctly. The girl paused for a long time, attempting to contain the storm that was brewing inside of her. The girl was about to go to jail for using 72 different methods to kill a boy. This boy. Help me, Jesus. She gathered herself just enough to ask in an eerily calm voice, if we aren't in a relationship, and if you didn't basically propose marriage to me, then why do you think I moved here? The boy replied, you seemed unhappy where you were, so I figured you could crash with me until you got on your feet here. The girl had so much running through her mind. Was she crazy? Did she dream this up? Did she misunderstand everything that they talked about? But suddenly, a final conclusion interrupted all of her mind's questions. He's a coward. And when he reaped what he has sown, she planned to be long gone. She called her best friend, who hopped on a one-way flight to help her pack whatever belongings she could squeeze into her 2003 Chrysler Sebring on its last leg, and drive the 15 hours back to the only state she's ever known. I had been through a lot with this person. This was not the only horrible thing that happened in our relationship, but I decided that this situation would be the last horrible thing that would ever happen between us ever again. I've always heard that when a person gets tired in relationships, you'll know. And I was tired. I was willing to do whatever it took to make sure that this person lost his power to affect me in any way, even if it meant forgiving him and letting the whole thing go. Not forgiving him meant that I would have to forever carry the burden of hurt, pain, bitterness, resentment, depression, insecurity, and mistrust that developed from everything that happened during our relationship. If I was willing to hold on to all of that, then I might as well just stay in the relationship with him. No, I had to do whatever it took to let it go, even if it meant not getting to kill him. And in the midst of that painful moment, it seemed completely worth it to spend my life in jail. But instead, I decided that my life had to get better after this. And not because I wanted to get revenge on him through my success, but because those 4 years of my life were filled with confusion and false alarms of true happiness and doubt in myself and God, disappointment, lies, fails and losses, etc. God would have never planned a life like this for me, which could only mean that I planned it for myself. I was equally to blame. I was tired of being a victim. I was tired of envying the lives and happiness of others. I was tired of constantly revising my future to accommodate someone who was unwilling and or unable to love me like I deserved. After much time, prayer, and self-reflection, the truth revealed itself. I knew what it meant to fight for love, but I had yet to discover what true, genuine, pure love looked like in a relationship. So I was completely unaware that for all this time, I was fighting for the very thing that was damaging me. In my mind, my only option was to count my losses, accept my lessons, and push forward to better things, even if I felt like I was losing everything in the process. And in many ways, I was. I had no job, no home of my own, no more savings, and no concrete plans to secure my future. My ex was the center of my future, and without him, I was starting from scratch. I remember thinking to myself on the 15-hour drive back to my home state, I don't care if I have to live out of this car or on the street. I will never again make someone else responsible for my future. But at least there's only one way to go from here. up. Now, what do I want? Clearly, it would take some work to even find the pieces in order to put them together, but I was determined and decided. Hear me loud and clear. You have an incredible life to live, love to give, purpose to serve, and blessings to receive. Do not allow unforgiveness to interfere with that any longer, and make no mistake about the fact that it is interfering with it. Some people feel that forgiveness is a sign of weakness, but truthfully, a weak person is incapable of forgiveness. Forgiving your ex may seem impossible to you right now, but the truth is, forgiveness is only as simple as you allow it to be, which means it's possible for everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this peek into forgiving your ex, and it is truly my prayer that this book helps others breathe easier, knowing that they're not alone, that forgiveness is possible, and that their next relationship does not have to be negatively affected by their last one. No matter how horrible your last relationship was, it can be used to actually increase your chances of experiencing the healthy relationships that we all dream of, better even. Now, I will be giving Forgiving Your Ex away for free to 100 lucky royals on the release day this week. So be sure to go to the link that's in the description box so that you can enter your email and become an official royal, so that you have a chance at getting your copy of the Forgiving Your Ex ebook for free. Free 99. Much love to y'all. Thank you for sticking with me and bearing with my lipstick through this video and just hearing my story. And I pray that it blessed you. Till next time.